Welcome once again to Live 605. I'm Con, aka Shave the Man. Actually, I'm Con Kazantzidis. There you go. Forget this aka Shave the Man, although today we probably won't be talking about shaving that much. There will be a little bit of shaving. We always talk about shaving, of course. But today we're going to be discussing an alarming trend that I've noticed of late. It is quite alarming because I've had questions. I've had people send me DMs through Instagram, interestingly, not anywhere else, mostly Instagram, and a couple of emails in relation to this phenomena that's occurring of late. And so we'll be talking about that. Welcome to everybody. If you're new here, please put new in the comments below. If you're watching us on the Shave the Man group, there will be a link that'll be placed in the links below, and that will enable you to identify yourself. I know some of you don't want to be identified, but it's just the thing. If you're under a witness protection program, then don't worry about the identification scenario. Come in as an alias. You could probably grow a beard or something and put on a disguise like I did in the thumbnail that you may have seen, and that is where my bearded adventure ends, I'm afraid. Abby, oh, hi, Abby. How are you? She's new and she's fabulous too. Abby's a wonderful, wonderful friend of mine and loves a beard, I hear. Maybe. We'll find out. Speaking about finding out, that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode of Live 605. There has been a trend of late, okay? This is one of those things that you may or may not have seen. Depends. I know that the algorithm works in a funny way and it shows you things it thinks it wants you to see on all social media platforms. So it's one of those things that you may or may not see, but I've certainly been seeing it because of where I am in the industry that I'm in and the accounts that I follow and all that sort of stuff. And that is the trend relating to beard growing kits. Now, that may sound a bit silly because if you want to grow a beard, you just stop shaving, right? That's, one would think that's how it goes. You want facial hair, stay away from the razor. That's how it works. No, apparently. No, that is not the answer. Apparently now you can buy all these amazing things, principally kits, that will enable you to grow a beard above and beyond the regular and normal growth that you would experience or that one would experience. This is a fascinating topic for me because I've been looking at the hirsute and hirsutism for quite some time, and that's a condition, in fact, that relates to even ladies that have grown beards, and these have, and over the centuries, last couple of centuries at least, or many decades, they were part of a circus or something. It was the amazing bearded lady. But this goes back, 200 or 300 years. There were etchings of bearded ladies that go back in history. So when I say centuries, I mean it. Yes, so it's not a new phenomenon. But we're talking principally about guys and beard growth. And it's an interesting trend because I think it taps into something that men today, young men, not so young men, are perhaps capitulating to. They're folding to this whole trend, and that is that beards are a sign of virility and masculinity and should be nurtured. I agree with that, all of that. But if you have problems growing a beard, then that in and of itself poses a problem. And I'm going to look at this problem, and I'm going to pick out a particular article that I read on a forum that made some outrageous claims from a Scandinavian country, no less. And I want to share this with you. This was breaking news. Breaking news. This was, this came out of breakneck speed. And it basically went something like this. It was a Danish company that will help guys around the world grow their beards to their fullest potential. And here, this is the kicker, introducing the beard growth kit that makes you gain 13,500 new hairs or approximately 52% increased density. This is a real claim, okay? This is what this particular company, and I won't name the company, I don't need to name the company, I also don't need to appear in court. Speaking of court, I'm caught up with this coffee thing again. I just need to have an espresso, excuse me a moment. This stuff is alarming. Firstly, 13,500 hairs? I realise it's an estimate. It's pretty precise though, 13,500 hairs, or 52% increased density. Something about that 52% which kind of triggers certain psychological cues. Perhaps that's what they want to do. I don't know, I'm just saying, right? Just saying. You would have seen these. These kits involve some science and some pseudoscience. And I think the pseudoscience kind of comes through quite a bit. Most sensible people will just see it for what it is, which is a gimmick. What I find alarming about it is that it actually plays on people's vulnerabilities, or I'm not going to say insecurities. You shouldn't have insecurities if you can't grow a full-grown beard. I mean, it is what it is, okay? But this is obviously some sort of marketing grab, and it's not just this Danish company. To be brutally honest with you, there are other companies that have sort of sprouted up all over the place. It's a fad, it's a trend, it's something that seems to have gained a lot of momentum. So I want to show you, or perhaps even discuss with you, what these kits generally contain. So usually these kits will contain a Derma Roller, and we'll talk about that in a minute, an activation serum of some description, and that activation serum, surprise, surprise, has this substance called Capillia longa, otherwise known as turmeric by any other name. See, turmeric's supposed to do all sorts of things. This is quackery, this stuff. And sometimes they contain supplements. So if you take these supplements, if you use the Derma Roller, you too will have a beard like mine. The kits kind of look a little bit like this. There's this Derma Roller, which you can see just there on the left. There's this serum, the magic serum. Won't tell you what's in it. This magic serum. And of course, there's a sanitizer, and there needs to be a sanitizer, which is one of the dangers with this. This Derma Roller usually has, I believe, about 540 very, very sharp titanium pins that you are supposed to roll on your skin, pretty much like you're supposed to roll a lawn and aerate a lawn. The similarities aren't lost on me. I don't know. When I saw this, I couldn't believe it. And that in itself is supposed to puncture the epidermis, right, the upper layer of the skin, and that puncturing will do exactly as you think it might do, damage the skin, damage the epidermis. Now, if you've ever been to the gym, or if you've ever had a personal trainer, or even at school, they would tell us that if you damage something, the body will try and rebuild it. So this is the rationale behind this. Using these Derma Rollers punctures the skin. It then means that the skin, you produce more collagen, and with more collagen, we get a lot more fibers in that area, and the thought is that you will then sprout a full beard, or, as in some cases, and someone said it there, you can actually do it on your head as well. They're using it for hair loss. This is all sorts of dangerous for all sorts of reasons. People that work in professional skin clinics, I believe, are the only ones that are qualified to pick one of these Derma Rollers up and go anywhere near your face with it. Don't buy this stuff, go home, and then wonder why you look like a pepperoni pizza, right? Don't do that. Go to a professional. If that is a problem and it's an issue for you, please try and avoid these Derma Roller, these beard rejuvenation and regrowth kits. I don't even think it even bears mentioning, but I have to mention it because people just get all, they get upset about it. And so they should. I mean, I get upset about it, right? It's one of those things that really plays on people's, this desire to have a full beard. Again, you know me, if you've been watching this show for some time, you know that I would like to also look at the perhaps the psychological reasoning behind that. If you've got a full beard, you're more virile, you're more a bloke, you're a man's man and you're a ladies' man. And there's a lot of evidence to suggest, and there are a number of studies that I've looked at, which suggest that facial hair tends to be an attractive attribute for some women in certain age brackets quite a bit. It's a thing that's a phenomena that's occurred throughout history. So it's not a new thing, right? It also means that if you grow that beard, you're showing that you're fairly high in testosterone, which means you will make a suitor, a wonderful partner, a suitable partner, and and particularly if this lady is, well, very, very fertile, she might go for you. This is rubbish. This is absolute garbage, right? There are so many factors that go into why people find the opposite sex attractive or not. To simply talk about beards is a nonsense. Do beards play a role? Of course they do. And do the ladies love beards? Yes, it seems to be a thing lately. Yes, Matt, everyone can grow a beard. It's just that some are denser than others. Absolutely. So the answer to all of this, and really drilling down to all of this, is that, and I hate to say it, there are certain enzymatic receptors in the body, in our body, that are different, that turn on and off. You have male pattern baldness. I mean, look at me. You too can have a head like mine. If you have hydroxyactinase alpha B lipase or whatever it's called. Look, it's genetics as well. Okay, you've just got to deal with it. If you can't grow a thick beard, some people look. I know men that grow thick beards and they hate them. They go, "Oh man, I can't handle this. By the time it's 5 o'clock, I need to shave again." For them, it's a hassle. Younger guys that can't grow a beard just yet, or haven't grown a fully grown beard, start to worry about it and they say, "Oh look, I can't grow a beard." A lot of football players, for example, sporting these very, very Herculean type beards, and everyone goes gaga over it. They go nuts over it. It's a personal thing, yes, but in terms of using products to encourage growth, I would really do the research. Look into it. I can't see and haven't been able to find substantial evidence that says that this way will encourage beard growth. Okay? I don't want to put 540 titanium needles on my face and go up and down, because what can happen, of course, is apart from infection, you have redness, you have all sorts of other issues that arise when you use these products, okay? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, okay? It probably is. I mean, it's a fact of life. That's what it is. This thing that I'm showing you, it just is what it is. Okay, sorry guys. I mean, there's nothing more I can do about that or say about that. I need to get this for my lawn. Yeah, I think you should get it for your lawn. Yeah, it's probably a great way to stimulate lawn growth. But look, just take this stuff with a grain of salt. They bombarded. They're doing a lot of Facebook ads with it. They're doing a lot of Instagram ads. They're pushing it on YouTube. They're pushing it everywhere. Because you have somehow looked at something in the past and they think, oh, this person seems like a great candidate. Let's throw this in their direction. Okay, so what can you do? Well, this is what I would suggest. Remember that genetics is the biggest thing that you need to consider. But there are things that you can do if you're trying to grow a beard or if you've got a patchy beard. First thing is reset, default. When the computer's not working, turn the bloody thing off, right? Start again, reboot. And the best way to reboot is just allow your beard to grow for 6 to 8 weeks, even if it's patchy, even if it's dirty. And I know a lot of you out there love a dirty beard, right? Let it grow. 6 to 8 weeks minimum, just let it go, right? Then shave it all off completely. Baby butt smooth, shave it all off, then allow it to grow again. No, this is not going to make your beard thicker, but what it will do, it will allow a complete reset. What happens with hair is that as hair grows, it becomes finer at the tips. So if you're trying to grow a thick beard and the finer tips aren't cutting it, cut the beard, right? Get rid of it. Do it again, as I said, keep it growing. And then other things, exercise, sleep, balanced diet, all these things that sound very, very boring, but they're true. It's true. It's just what you have to do. Let it grow. Stephen says, I find the best thing to do is to let it grow, Absolutely. Don't touch it. Even if you're trying to grow a moustache and a twirler like that, let it grow. Don't even trim it, right? Let it get in the way. Let it be a nuisance until it fills out and does what it has to do. So that's what I would suggest. Just shave it. Let it sort of find out where it's all growing, because this is the question that I was asked. Will it grow thicker if I shave it? No. I would have a full head of hair if I shave my head all the time. It doesn't mean I'm going to get it, I'm going to have a full head of hair. It's just, it's genetics, okay? And there are certain receptors in the body which are programmed to turn on and off. It's part of your gene sequence. Interestingly, it's probably passed on from the mother's side. There's a lot of work that's been done on that. But I know particularly men pattern baldness. Your dad could have a full head of hair and you'd be a cue ball. It's from mum's side, essentially. That's where that's carried. As for beards, keep away from that roller, or go and seek professional advice. Go to a qualified skin clinic and say, look, is there anything I can do about this? And then hold your breath for about 10 seconds. It's not going to happen. It's just one of those things. And it saddens me to say that. Well, what do you do? If you've got a patchy beard, this is the question. What happens where you've got this patchy beard? You've seen them. It's the sort of the bum fluff year 11 type beard. It's not quite growing. Look, there are kids that are, they were born with beards, but some of them just weren't. It's just a fact of life. I would consider a goatee. This is not why I have a goatee. I'd shave completely if I could, but I leave the goatee because I need to be testing balms and all sorts of things that we've got here. So I would, if you can't do the full beard, try the goatee. I know some guys think that it's not, or the soul patch or whatever. They don't want to be rocking the goatee because it's a bit, it dates them a little bit, or they just think whatever. Hey, listen, who would have thought moustaches would have come back in a big way? And they have. The dirty moustache, the dirty pool cleaning guy moustache. Yeah, you know the type. Anyway, style the beard in such a way that it conceals the patchiness. And with this, I would just suggest something like a chin strap. Now, what a chin strap looks like is something like this. So the guy just grows along the sides here. This gentleman obviously either can't or doesn't want to grow a beard on his cheeks. It's just one of those things, right? And that's fine. That's the old chin strap. It also helps to accentuate the jawline, because I've got an amazing jawline. Amazing. This guy here he'll catch up one day. Right? But you can see there's probably not a great deal of growth there. This requires a lot more maintenance. You've got to have at it with a shavette or a razor. You've really got to look after it, because very soon it then looks like there was an accident that occurred, and you'd have to call in the Industrial Relations Department to sort of explain what happened to your face. But this requires maintenance. That's one way of sort of getting away from the patchiness. There is another one. If you've got a slightly fuller beard, more than this guy, you'd probably go for that. So you can see this guy doesn't really have a great amount of growth, but it's enough to sort of create the illusion of a beard, and that's all it needs. Sometimes, it is what it is. Matt Crawford, yes, Orlando Bloom, Johnny Depp, both they have a patchy beard, but they don't have a patchy bank account. Just a sniff of their wallet will make one's beard grow. So, yeah, it's true. Just wear it well. We say here all the time, either shave it off or keep it nice, right? Just either shave or keep the thing nice as you possibly can. Let me know in the comments, do you have a beard? Are you looking at perhaps, or have you ever had a chin strap beard? I'd like to know. What if your beard grows in the shape of polka dots? Yeah, that's a good question, Abby. Look, if someone in your life, a loved one or whatever, has a patchy beard and it grows in the shape of polka dots, I'd be wearing a polka dot dress. So you could match. No. The truth of the matter is I'd look at something like this, just shave parts of it to make it look like there's a deliberate styling decision that happened there. Or try the other thing. Just shave it off, let it go again 6 to 8 weeks, go through the dirty Sanchez bit, shave it off again, right? Give yourself 2 shaves. Just give it a night, and preferably shave it, not with a cartridge razor, just use a proper razor. Get it done properly. Or go to a barber shop, get it shaved properly, right? And then press the reset button and see how you go. Quite often, see, the growth of hair goes through a number of phases. There's the anaphase. There's all sorts of phases of growth. Hair doesn't just go and just appear. It goes through very distinct phases. So you've got to be a little bit careful around expecting it to grow and be wild. That's the thing. I mean, that is what you've got to look at. But just shave it off. And who we had, someone was twirling their moustache there. I didn't quite get that. Yes. What is this patchy beard? Big Hippo. Well, Big Hippo has got a beard that would cover the whole of Lithgow and beyond and environs. He's got a great beard. Look, quite often it's you just got to let the thing go. If you're committed to the beard and it's patchy, then I'd look at starting off by styling it. And by that, I mean getting a razor. Okay, you're going to have to shave. And if that shave twice and leave, and leave it for 6 to 8 weeks thing doesn't satisfy you, remember, it's not going to make your beard grow thicker. It will appear that it's growing thicker because you've just shaved and you're going to get some stubble there, but it'll at least give you the reset. Okay, and then failing all of that, the thing that a lot of men are doing these days is just leaving 3 to 4 or a week-long growth and just using a trimmer. Okay, but even with a trimmer, if you've got patches, it's obvious. Okay, it's less obvious, but it's still kind of obvious. So I guess work with what you've got, work to your strengths. Get off this thing that beards are it and everything else is not it. You thought I was going to say something else then, didn't you? I will say something else. It's time for an espresso. Okay. Is there a relationship between bald heads and being able to grow bigger, thicker beards? I think there is definitely a relationship between testosterone levels and bald heads. And if therefore testosterone, higher amounts of testosterone, remember again, there are certain receptors and things that turn enzymes on and off. You are likely to find men who are bald that have got big beards. And there's also, it goes the other way too, they're likely to grow a beard because they are bald, if that makes sense. The dude that's got a beard and he's bald doesn't look as bald if he's bald and he's got this beard. Because then it kind of says, well, look, I've got a choice. I chose to grow this beard. Don't be looking at the noggin, right? It's all happening here. So that's it. Look, a lot of it is a fashion statement. A lot of it is signalling. There's a lot of sociological signalling that occurs. Yes, Steve, what is it? I've had a barber tell me keeping straight lines in your cheeks makes your beard look fuller. I guess so. Certainly keeping it neater makes it look fuller, and using the products that, that will bring out the sheen, the shine, avoiding those stray whiskers. Yes, I said stray whiskers, didn't I? That will certainly contribute to that. I was talking about sociology. It's interesting. There was this wisdom: don't grow a beard when don't go into a job interview if you've got a beard. It makes you untrustworthy. That's all rubbish. Okay, that's culturally, that's contextual in terms of your culture. It depends on your age. It depends on all sorts of things. There was a whole lot of studies that were done, and they did this regressional analysis on older men, and by older I mean over 50, with beards more trustworthy than guys that have got 30, and the guys that are 30 and have got beards, or guys that are in their 20s have got. Look, there are so many combinations and permutations that it would be a nonsense to try and drill down and do it. And plus, this is not sociology hour. So I guess if you keep it neat, it will definitely look fuller. If it just grows everywhere, it just looks like you couldn't really couldn't really care. Anyway. What other comments do we have? Comb over patches and let the beard grow longer. Yeah, maybe good. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. There was patches are a problem for guys because for them it may bring out these feelings of, I'm not quite the guy or something like that. Look, work with what you've got. You can make a patchy beard look good. Try the chin strap thing if you're not rocking that. Look, guys over 50 start to grow these sorts of things because they want to hide the double and triple chins. People grow beards for all sorts of reasons, right? The thing is just to keep it neat and tidy and look after it. It's not just, I got a beard. No, don't just grow a beard and then hope for the best. You've got to look at that. One thing I will say, if you've got a beard and you want to go nuts, and there is someone here that I know who was twirling his moustache earlier, if you want to do the beard thing, and you want it to be a different length of moustache, like have a 1 week growth with a twirly moustache, that's cool. But look after. Adam's apple down. Shave this bit, please. There's nothing worse. Doesn't matter if you've got a full beard, and even if it's short but full, and people can see this filth under here, it's a problem. Okay. Now I'm going to make a subjective value judgment. Please don't do it. Shave this area down here. Get it neat and tidy around your collar. In other words, you should be able to do your button up without having this sort of wolfman thing happening over the top. And if just do that. And I think that will make the world of difference. It'll give your face shape. That's another thing about it. It gives it, because otherwise you become this amorphous, hairy fuzzball, right? It's not a good look, guys and girls. It's not a good look. Any other questions? What do we have here? Hello, Chris. How you going? High testosterone levels for Chris. Yes. Chris has probably got high testosterone levels, but testosterone is one of those things. John Hepburn. Look at Keanu Reeves. Looked great with a patchy beard. He does. He would look great in a 90. If you wore in a onesie, you could put Keanu Reeves in a onesie and he'd look great. Time for some aqua de minerale. John, yes, I'm so with you. No to the neck beards. It just looks dirty. And there's good dirty, and then there's this neck beard. Don't do it. Try, really get that cleaned up. And if you're in a profession, if you're in sales, if you're seeing people in an office, if you're in a professional setting, if you're whatever, even that, look, people notice that stuff. You think they don't notice it because they're not telling you, but they notice it. It's not a good look. Now, even I know men that grow beards down to here, right? Big hippo, for example, you've got a beard down to here, but they still look after the area under here, right? It's just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be looking after it. It's very, very important. Beard oil or beard balm? Okay, good question. Beard oil, right. So beard oil is a misnomer. Beard oil should really be called skin oil, skin toning oil for guys that have beards, because its primary purpose is to keep the skin supple and moisturized and not dry. So you get that beard rough and you start scratching while you're watching Netflix. You get all this, and if you're wearing a black shirt, you end up looking like a Lamington. That's a reference for our overseas visitors that probably look up Lamington. Anyway, so the beard oil will put a nice sheen and provide some scent, definitely. But it's mainly for keeping the skin nice and supple, right? And also hydrating, keeping the skin, because hairs can become quite dry and you get all split ends and whatever. So it puts a nice sheen on them, but it keeps the skin condition. The beard balm, on the other hand, does that in a different way. First of all, a beard balm is semi-solid at room temperature. Once you put it in your hands and you activate it, it becomes kind of oily. It looks like you put your hands in butter. Work it through the beard, right? And then comb it through, and then it'll try and return to its natural state. So it won't solidify, but it goes back to its balminess, right? So it becomes a styling product. So its primary purpose is, yes, conditioning, yes, absolutely, particularly if it's got shea butter and jojoba oil and all those other goodies in it, but it's a styling product. So beard oil, whether you've got if you've got a 6-day growth or a 7-day growth, don't worry about beard oil, okay? You'll end up looking like you fell into the chip fryer, Okay, don't do it. You don't need it. Just keep yourself moisturized. But once it starts to fill out, if it can, then you can look at the beard oils. I know a lot of men that don't like beard oil. They just don't like oil in their face. It's just not a good look. Beard balm, again, really, it is an oil. It's actually a fat. It's a lipid. But at least it returns back to its sort of semi-solidified state and then can allow you to do a bit of shaping and all the rest of it. I think that's a very, very important thing. Any chance of getting me in a rose? You know what? Man, I would wear a rose-scented beard oil. Yeah, I would. I'm with you. Yeah. Look, we could probably get someone to make some for us, but I want to get the good stuff. Because you've got to get a really good quality rose oil. And I would, yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna ask around because only a confident man can wear rose as a scent. Only a confident man, like you, Steve. Yes, rosebud. Any difference in beard-specific shampoo, soap, and regular shampoo? Absolutely. So I myself used to think that the whole beard shampoo thing was not a gimmick, but come on, guys, we can just wash it off. Don't use hair shampoo for your beard, okay? Hair shampoos contain all sorts of things that are meant, firstly, they break down oils and fats. Your head has, it's full of sebaceous glands, okay? It gets oily. There's a buildup of grime and grease, which your face never, ever goes through. They're only a short distance away, but they're made up totally different. The biology is quite different. So oils, fats, lipids, dirt, all that stuff needs to be stripped away from the hair and washed properly on your head. And then they say, oh, and then you've got to use this conditioner, which then tries to put back all that because it's stripped it all out. Now it needs to replace it. And there's all sorts of rotten things like silicates and other things in there, which bring that lovely, that weller. Oh my God, aren't I amazing? Look at my hair waving. So I wouldn't use regular shampoo on my beard. No, use a dedicated shampoo, which breaks down the oils and fats, but doesn't strip out, doesn't have all these surfactants and humectants and strip out your face. Because if you try it, if you've got a beard, those of you that have got a beard, have you tried to shampoo your beard with a regular hair shampoo? And how did that go for you? Not well. You'll end up getting itchy, right? That's what happens. Because what's happening is the scalp, you wash, the scalp says, oh, hang on, guys, we're a bit dry. Let's start producing oil, right? It starts to produce oil and you get an oily buildup and it reverses that. The skin lacks the capacity to address that as rapidly and in the same way. So there is a difference. There is absolutely a difference. Because there is a difference with drinking espresso. Any other questions, please let me know. Ptolemeos, hello. How are you? Yes, look, it's one of those things. What's Abby saying? If worse comes to worse, you guys could always shave your chest and then glue it to your face. There is that. There is that. I think we should. Yes, Abby, I don't know. Look, the shaving bearded thing, there are two camps here, death before the razor. Shaving is for felines, all that kind of stuff. It's a bit of, and I know it's the banter and that isn't good, but some people are really serious. If you think shaving groups are hardcore, you get into one of these beards of Instagram and all this kind of stuff, and those guys will just boot you out if you start talking about razors, even as a joke, right? So, but I know that people go through stages. My recommendation, if you're a young man or even a not so young man, but what's young? It's all subjective, of course. Try and grow a beard. Just do it once, twice. Just try it and see how you go. Photograph it. So I'm actually giving you permission to do the old selfie thing. Photograph it and have a look. There's no point having a beard, shaving it, and then growing it back again if you haven't taken photographs. Just see if you notice any difference, right? And hopefully by the time it's grown back, the fad will have gone. There'll be no fad anymore. No one will want to have a beard. Who knows what will be in by then? I don't know. It's one of those things. Hello to those of you that are watching on YouTube. Yes, we don't want to neglect our YouTube followers. Thank you very much, Sasha. Good morning, and good morning to you, kind sir. Stephen, yes, Con, my wife's workmate is bald but doesn't shave his head. Do you recommend any products for his naturally bald head? I feel I can't offer advice because I choose to shave mine and use nice aftershaves, etc. It's a hard conversation. The comb over, the bald head, the guy that's got the horseshoe thing. Look, when I started losing my hair, it really got me down. I just thought, oh my God, how am I going to live through life? I don't know how I'm going to go through life like this. And then there was this tennis star called Andre Agassi that started losing it. And this guy had streaks and he was a mullet. He was the ant's pants on the tennis court. And when he started losing hair, I regained some faith in humanity. And then when Bruce Willis lost hair, well, then we all became part of that crowd. It's one of those things. Someone should have that conversation, but it probably shouldn't be your dear wife, Stephen. I don't know. How do you break it to someone that you look, man, lose the hair. It's only 5 hairs on there. What are you doing? Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. I know people don't want to get rid of it because they think you look after it as a regime. Maybe there's someone that they like in the hairdressing salon that they like going in there and deliberately getting their hair cut because they just want to keep going back to that same hairdresser. I don't know. But when I saw that there was, I wasn't going to fool anyone, the hair goes. It's finished. I would, if somebody has a bald head, they should still look after it. A bit of moisturizer, make sure you put product on your head. I moisturize my noggin whether I'm going to shave it or not. And obviously when I'm outside, I wear a hat. It's just one of those things. I can't escape that. I have to wear, it's one of those things, I guess. What have we got there? Is it permanent? Why do people not stop using hats instead to keep their hair together for life? Yes, indeed. Look, it's a very hard conversation to have with some people. They've got to come to it themselves. But I don't know that the workplace would be, a place where you could do that. Folks, thanks for joining the live. It's time for me to go and grow some or something like that. I don't know. I might try. I love shaving too much. That's why I don't grow the full beard. But I don't know. See, there'd be I would have to, not see human beings for about 6 or 7 weeks so I can pass that filth, dirty stage, because it does get, I get it gets dirty, and then eventually re-emerge and enter civilization again as we know it, and then hopefully it'll look good. But I think I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing here because I love shaving too much. That's what it is. It's a hobby, okay? It's one of my little guilty pleasures. I love it, and yeah, just keep on keeping on with that, folks. Thanks for joining in the live. Remember, you can leave comments and keep the conversation going. We'll be here again next week, of course, talking about other things. We're going to try and broaden the horizons a little bit and talk about all sorts of things. Just to recap on these beard kits, recap on anything that works on people's vulnerabilities. To me, automatically gets put into the sus bucket. I'm just thinking that's sus. I'm not going to look. I don't know. And then I'll look into it and whatever. I know people get on there and say, oh, this worked for me. It works. Unreal. It's fantastic. It worked for me. It might have worked for them. I'm not saying it didn't. But to me, the science and the evidence just doesn't back that. Spend your money elsewhere. Buy a nice hat, or, I don't know, get some trimmers and just keep the goatee thing, or go the chin strap. Whatever it is, do it, and do it well. Remember, if you're going to keep it, you either shave it off or keep it nice. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you in the next live.